Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So I just got done watching the ASQD Gaming Ghost Recon Wildlands 2, what we would like to see in the next Ghost Recon title. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Shout out to ASQD. Shout out to all the people who gave him their opinions on what they would like to see, people playing this game, people involved in the community, people who really love this franchise. But I'd like to go through a few things that I've written down in trying to formulate my opinion on what really I would like to see in the next Ghost Recon title. And in response to A Squad's video, was trying to really grab the attention of the developers and lead them towards the right path on how to fix this franchise. Right? So there are things right off the bat, like the gunsmith. It's obvious. Lots of gunsmith features. Customization. It's obvious. Yes, you should be able to customize not only your face, but then your neck, your belt, your vest, things on your vest, things on your belt. He had mentioned, maybe putting canteens or certain pouches where you want to put it. That would be amazing. In Breakpoint, we have our belt that just sits there and it kind of changes according to the vest. All you had to do was separate that, and you could have given us the option to maybe have one more thing that we could customize. But with what was said in his video, I agree. We need to have more customization options, whether it's on our character or within the gunsmith. That's right off the bat. Starting from the beginning, open world compared to linear missions. I know a lot of people talk about that. I still want open world. But in my opinion, I would like an open world with a linear story. So what I mean by that, and I have discussed this in a video, I'll link it up here, about how the story and safe travels, fast travels in the safe houses, how that kind of ruins the immersion in the game. I would like an open world, but the story to really take you one area at a time, expanding you outwards in the map, and not have a mission up here, mission down here, mission here, mission here. I'd like the story to really engage us when it comes to creating the mission structure. Don't make missions that bounce all over the map. Wildlands had it more where you did each province. That felt better, right? So however you're going to do the story, make it more like Wildlands where you're working one area at a time and you're not fast traveling between an entire map until maybe later on. Also, as far as he had mentioned taking over provinces, which was a great idea. I had suggested that for what a battle royale would look like in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. He mentions the Snowdrop engine, which is perfect because Massive, who creates the Division, uses the Snowdrop engine, and they have this control point mechanic in the Division 2. And if you've played the Division 2, you know what I'm talking about. If you had all these provinces and you had to take it over, all these separate control points, and then it becomes your province, right? With your rebels, like was mentioned in A Squad's video. That would make, that's like the San Andreas Grand Theft Auto mechanic at the end of the game, which is perfect for something like Ghost Recon for endgame content, where maybe you lose your safe travel locations when the enemy retakes a certain area. So it makes you keep revisiting these areas to retake these areas and ensure that you control this country or whatever it might be. I think that was a great idea. Night vision goggles on our heads. I don't know how long people are going to ask for this. I've been asking for it since Wildlands. Stop making us just switch on night vision and not at least snap something on our head. I don't even care if there's an animation with me going into my, just going like this. You could do Metal Gear Solid style, and just when I put on night vision, boop, something just snaps on my head. Whether I have the actual item, like an actual helmet where I put it down, and if I don't, and you give me night vision, then at least let me reach in my back and do an animation where I put something on my face right here, and then goggles snap on my face. That's simple. Yes, AI, a deep dive into programming AI that feels next gen. He mentioned combat mechanics, and I think more than just enemies throwing grenades, flashbangs, things like that, which was what was, I think, in OTT or whatnot, and then was removed, and then they put it back in. I don't know if that was a bug or whatnot in Breakpoint. There are mechanics in Wildlands PvP, and I've mentioned this before, like suppression mechanics, where you suppress each other and you get that weird blurry vision. Now, I'm not saying it has to be just that, but enemies should suppress you, flank you, throw flashbangs, flank you. There needs to be a feel. And like A Squad said, not just shotgun rushers. There needs to be a feel that these guys are trying to tactically outmaneuver you to take you out. They don't try to suppress you. They don't try to flashbang you and flank you or throw grenades to get you out of cover. They don't do any of that. This is very, very, very important when it comes to the Ghost Recon franchise and tactical shooters. You need to make sure your AI is on point. So that's very important. Slider options for difficulty levels, we have that now. Make it even more in depth, give us options. A feeling of exploration, unlocking opening areas, and then acquiring items and vehicles. This is something, as far as gameplay wise, give that little video game feel where you're building yourself up. Don't drop us into a game and then just give us a chopper. Make us go have to find one. Make us have to earn a chopper that we can call in for a backup or something like that. If you're going to go down that route again, don't just give it to us. We should earn it. We should have to walk on foot at first and then steal cars and steal choppers before we can just buy them and have them spawn at a safe house. We should have to earn these things. And that goes back to the mission structure. Make the mission structure more linear, which means make it more where you start in a certain area and explore outwards. Don't make me fast travel across the entire map. Okay, something that wasn't mentioned in A Squad's video that I think was missed. Maybe people didn't mention it. We need to remove this losing bullets magazine system that they have, or lack of magazine system. This loss of bullets in immersive mode system is just wrong. It was wrong in the ghost mode and wildlands. We need to have a magazine system. If you have a certain amount of bullets, they're divided in between equally in magazines. I have a video on this. I'll link it up here. And you should have to cycle through your magazines. It's similar to SOCOM. I know other games probably have this. Ghost Recon is behind in this department. If you have 5 magazines, 30 rounds a magazine, you have 150 bullets. You'll cycle through them. If you unload one magazine before it runs out of bullets, you will go through all your magazines. When you get back to that magazine, you have that many bullets left in that magazine. That's how it should be. Suppressors. I have another video up here. I'm gonna have so many videos because I've been speaking about this stuff. If you've been with me, you know you've seen all these videos that I've spoken about all this stuff. So suppressors. I think suppressors need to actually start acting like suppressors. What do I mean by that? You should be able to take a certain bullet, let's say a supersonic round, and you take let's say there's 3 types of suppressors, and this is like a long suppressor, right? Just for the sake of argument for this mechanic. What you have is, you have on your sniper rifle a bullet that'll go farther, but a suppressor that'll be louder. So you want to be away from enemies. Or you could take a subsonic round with a shorter suppressor, which will give you a quieter bullet, but it won't travel as far. So you can tie in the bullet and the suppressor into the bullet drop in the game, and that will lead to people having options as to how loud they want to be and how far their bullets should go, and maybe even how strong their bullets are. These are the type of mechanics I really want to discuss when it comes to the future of this franchise. I don't just want to give them, what's the setting should be, what type of customizations. I want them to really reimagine some mechanics in this game. And I think starting with the suppressors, that's a big one, that they would really have to redesign this entire thing. So another thing, and I'll link it up here for you guys, when we were first finding out about the RPG mechanics in Ghost Recon Breakpoint, I was discussing, and it was mentioned in A Squad Gaming's video. And I think he was adamant about whether it should be implemented or not. And I think actually we should move forward with it, because it also ties into another thing he mentioned, which was if you have on a ghillie suit, it should work as camouflage. If you have on something that works with the terrain, it should work as camouflage. So yes, this goes back to what he said about putting on certain types of gear that will make you heavier or lighter or something like that. This is precisely how classes should work. If you put on a heavy tactical, and you have helmet, and you have two primaries, and you have extra ammo and extra grenades and mines and C4 and a backpack. You are basically playing like a tank slash assault class. You'll have a little bit more health, but you'll be slower. You won't be as quiet, as stealthy, as opposed to somebody with a light, maybe a light tactical vest and one primary, or it's a submachine gun, only a few grenades, no mines. Like, this is a good system that they could create. Instead of making a cogwheel or whatever that wheel is to put everything you want there, how about you just let us go to our safe house or whatever it is, and you pick your loadout and you roll out with it, and now that's what you have on you. You have on, I have 2 mines, 3 grenades, 1 primary. I'm this heavy, which means I'll be or I'm this light, which means I'm this much more quiet. I'm this much more prone to injury or being killed faster. Let them pick their gear, let them pick their outfit, and let that represent the type of play style they will have. This also falls into the subsonic rounds, the supersonic rounds with the suppressors. If you roll out like a sniper, so you have a supersonic round with a suppressor that's a little more loud in a radius, but gives more punch to the bullet and more distance, then you might also go a little more light. You have on a ghillie suit. You don't have on a lot of stuff, so you're more agile, you're quicker. But if you get caught out there, you'll get killed quicker. These types of mechanics are the mechanics we should be discussing for the future of this franchise. I don't just want these developers to push ahead with, okay, we have a narrative, we have our setting, let's make the same game with the same type of mechanics. You have to really reimagine what this franchise could be and would be if the developers made and built new components and new systems that went into this game. And I think this is a good start. Maybe we should move away from everybody dressing how they want and having no effect in the game. If there's going to be a system where you have gear that reflects how the AI is going to see you in the game, you could only change that gear in the safe house, because when you go to different areas, you're going to want to change your gear up. As far as the setting, with what they did with Breakpoint, it goes to show you how pressured they are not to put in realistic areas into their games moving forward. The Bolivian government had an issue with Wildlands and it was ignored, but it might have pushed them to make Aroa and make this make pretend island. However, with that being said, I think the next Ghost Recon game, or the future of this franchise, should be an Asian Pacific theater. I think moving into China, Taiwan, North Korea, somewhere where something like maybe a rebel military force sympathetic to the Chinese government has seized Taiwan or something like that. Or, and that might be too political for today's day and age. Companies don't want to get into that type of stuff. Maybe you can still make up a government and country. The Asian Democratic Parliament has invaded the island of an island made up, or it could just be something like that. But I would like to see something that resembles Asian elements, Asian enemies, Chinese enemies. I know everyone wants Middle East or now South America with the drug cartels, or even Russia, which was overdone for 20 years with the Cold War. I think it would be cool to move into an Asian Pacific theater with Chinese enemies or things like that, and that would make for good terrain as well. The Chinese terrain can be very, very, you can have mountains of snow and jungle and inner cities and things like that. So something with China, I don't know, Taiwan, North Korea, I think that would be really cool behind enemy lines. Also, I want people to consider, do we have to have one solid map? Now, I'm not suggesting this, I don't know if I would like this or not, but do we need one solid map? With all the fast traveling that you do, right? Would it matter if the map was split into maybe 3 solid maps with all different types of terrain and landscape, where you could actually pick your theater? Maybe there is an Asian theater, a South American theater, a Middle Eastern theater. Maybe there are 3 different maps that combine to the size of something from Wildlands or Aroa, but there are 3 different campaigns, or there are 3 different theaters that you can choose from. That's something to consider as well within how the tactical shooter should work. Maybe it shouldn't just be I'm here on this map, this is the only map. Maybe you can go into a campaign, pull out of the campaign, do a new campaign here, another almost like how the linear single mission games were, except more smaller open world areas that are all made differently. That's something to consider. Okay, so now here's one that wasn't mentioned in A Squad's video that I want to really discuss, and that is the AI teammates. I am going to channel the powers of Freedom Fighters and Low Interactive, however you say it. Was it Low Interactive? IO Interactive? No, I think it's Low Interactive. You could tell 12 guys and it would cycle between them. So if you gave the 12th guy an order, you had to give 11 guys orders to get back to the 12th. That's something that is really difficult with so many AI teammates. How do you pick all of them, But I'm sure devs will be able to figure it out. Maybe you aim on them to pick them and then you could move them. I don't know. All I know is this. I would like upwards of 12 AI teammates for the next Ghost Recon. And this is what I want. Not only do I want full controls, I want your teammates to die and get replaced. I want to see lots of AI teammates. I want to see that if you don't take control of your AI teammates, they die. And maybe there's within the story, you're getting new people onto your team all the time. So if you have that one AI teammate that's really good and he dies, he or she dies, that's it. They're gone in the game and you need to replace them. And it would have randomly generated AI character. Now, here's another thing that would be really, really cool. What if your AI teammates are actually built up? There could be a ranking system where the more you play with them, the more you give them good orders and the more they take enemies out, their stats build up. Maybe they have stealth stats or accuracy stats or things like that. And as you go throughout this game and you give good orders and you are this Ghost Recon squad, you are this Ghost squad and you're giving them commands that are keeping them safe, they build up and they get better. And if you get into conflicts, maybe sometimes, you might give a bad command or just how things happen in conflicts. Some of your men die, you lose them and you get new men in, you have to rebuild them up. I think that would be a really cool mechanic for the Ghost Recon franchise. And what makes me think of this is with the rebels in Wildlands. You can call in all of these rebels, but you couldn't tell them what to do. They came and they went and it didn't matter. But there were how many of them on your screen? So if you have the ability to have all these rebels do these things, if you could really simplify the command wheel and give us the options to have them move and open fire and do certain things, and you implement the system to where you build your team up, your team cohesiveness goes up, their accuracy goes up, their stamina. You tell me, like think of things, what your team, how you can build them up, and you would want to keep them safe and you would want to engage safely. Unlike Wildlands, where it was like, oh, rebels come in and you didn't care what happened to them. You take that and you kind of build on it for the next Wildlands 2 or whatever. And now you have a teammate, you have a squad, a team of 12, and you're giving them orders and you're building them up to be one cohesive unit. I think that would be really cool. It's really something to look into. It's really something to discuss as well moving forward on what we should do with teammates, because we went backwards from Wildlands to Breakpoint. They just snatched them out instead of building on it. And I think that was the biggest mistake, one of the biggest mistakes, obviously, in Breakpoint was no, you didn't have a squad. And let's take it from there. So that is all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'm going to link A Squad Gaming video down below. I'm sure if you're subbed to my channel, I'm sure you've heard of A Squad Gaming. You probably subbed to his. If not, go give him a sub. Watch that video. Comment on that video. I believe he's a part of Delta Company, so he has the ear to the developers. He can get information to them. I believe he's going to send them his video, so you could comment in his video. Let him know what you think. Maybe the developers will see it, maybe they won't, who knows. But that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Let's discuss some things. Let me know what you think about some of the systems I discussed. And we'll take it from here, one day at a time, right? So everybody enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video. All right, everybody, peace.